These are two people who have exposed themselves to great risk through the pursuit of journalism, and the committee did say that Maria Ressa from the Philippines and Dmitry Muratov from Russia were awarded for what they described as a courageous fight to defend freedom of expression. The committee said that these two journalists really represented all reporters who stood up for those ideals. There were more than 300 nominees this year, including the environmentalist Greta Thunberg, but these awards, as we know, are notoriously difficult to pick, and it's gone to these two journalists who have really put themselves out there, and I think that's why they've won the enormous respect of many of their peers and now the Nobel Committee.
And Nick, what impact has Maria Ressa had on journalism in the Philippines and indeed across Southeast Asia?
Well, she founded the independent digital news site Rappler, which has been instrumental really in exposing corruption in the Philippines and also the mass police killings that have been engaged in as the Duterte regime tries to crack down on drugs. She's also reported widely on terrorism in Southeast Asia and the way that it has been able to flourish in the region. And we were talking about the risk that she's been exposed to. This has come at a huge cost for her. She's been arrested at least a couple of times. She's had a slew of charges levelled at her, including libel. So certainly challenging the regime in the Philippines has been a risky undertaking for her, but it's one that she says she won't be deterred from.
And Dmitry Muratov was noted to have been working for decades for freedom of speech under increasingly challenging conditions.
That's right. Dmitry Muratov was one of the co-founders of Novaya Gazeta, an independent newspaper in Russia, and he was the editor-in-chief for more than 2 decades. Through that paper, he really has defied Vladimir Putin and the Kremlin. He has exposed through his journalism a number of cases of corruption, many of them pointing the finger at the Kremlin and people affiliated with it, including Vladimir Putin. He's reported extensively on the conflict in Ukraine as well. One thing that he has said is that this really is something not for him to accept, but all of the journalists who have exposed themselves, many of whom have died or disappeared, he says that this is really for them. But he's certainly very proud to be accepting the award.
And what has been some of the reaction to their wins?
Well, we heard a little from some of them before. Interestingly, the Kremlin itself has issued a statement on the win from Dmitry Muratov. It has said that it's, he's a man who has stood up for his ideals and that essentially he should be proud of what he's done. As I was mentioning, Mr. Muratov said that this really is something that all Russian journalists who have exposed themselves to risk should share in, but he said he was extremely shocked by it. He said he was laughing at one point, but he said it was very pleasant news indeed, and I think something that will spur him on to continue his work. And we heard also from Maria Ressa earlier. She was continuing with that theme, saying that she wasn't doing it for recognition, and she never has, but this recognition will continue to spur her on in the pursuit of truth.
Nick Dole, thank you so much.